Guys, I don't like making pretentious statements, but today it's really not a false alarm. I think that this time the Steam Deck and the upcoming Steam Machine are effectively dead, and it's mostly Valve's fault. This will have a serious impact on the gaming industry, even it's not obvious to many of you. Let me explain why. Recent news about Valve's consoles is very upsetting. Thanks to the AI, we are seeing hardware pricing rising over 300%, and it's not just about RAM. All that AI slop has to run somewhere, and it eats an insane amount of memory. DRAM manufacturers are already shifting focus towards DDR5 and HBM for AI companies, which mean one thing: do not expect affordable RAM, GPUs or SSDs anytime soon. We already seeing the first consequences. Recent articles indicate that Valve's handheld gaming PC is out of stock due to RAM shortage. In many regions, the OLED version is almost impossible to buy even in retail, and the future of Steam Deck pricing and availability is uncertain. Early in February, Valve explained how component shortages were affecting its plans, specifically memory and storage.
When we announced these products in November, we plan to share specific pricing and launch dates by now. But memory and storage shortages across the industry have rapidly increased since then. The limited availability and growing prices of these critical components mean we must revisit our exact shipping schedule and pricing.
Many of you might say, what's Valve's fault in that? They are not DRM manufacturers, they can't influence the memory monopolist, and you are right. But you are skipping the bigger mission the Steam Machine was supposed to fulfill for the gaming industry. Listen closely. Steam isn't just a simple game store with cool feature and holiday sales. It's a symbol of victory over piracy. Designed as a launcher for Counter-Strike, Steam soon became the platform that revolutionized PC gaming. Take former Soviet republics, for example. After the USSR collapsed in 1991, countries like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan were in economic disaster. While Western countries created conditions for game industry to develop, Eastern Europe was just recovering, still licking the wounds of a crisis. Game piracy became the norm not because Eastern gamers were mean or thieves, but because this country never had the concept of intellectual property, were poor and had no real way to buy official games. For many game companies, the Eastern market didn't exist or was considered a bunch of pirates who wouldn't pay anything, so why investing in infrastructure here? This wasn't just an Eastern Europe problem. PC gaming had a bad reputation globally. Many cool games launched only on consoles because companies assumed that PC gamers will just pirate their product. And now, Gabe Newell. This guy understood that piracy is almost always a service problem, not a pricing one. He argued that providing better, more convenient, value-added services like Steam was far more effective than a restrictive DRM, by making legal, superior experiences easier than pirated ones. Steam converted users to legitimate buyers, and it worked. Regional pricing and availability make thousands of PC gamers start buying licensed products. That's why today we are seeing Sony games on PC, because the market is now too powerful to ignore. But let's get back to our main topic: Steam consoles. Before the Steam Deck was released, the handheld PC market was essentially a niche space for enthusiasts, where sales around 1000 units were already considered a huge success. The engineering team at Valve achieved something close to a miracle. They turned this niche upside down and proved that gamers still need dedicated handheld devices, and that modern technology was finally powerful enough to deliver a comfortable gaming experience. The success of the Steam Deck motivated other companies to enter the space. Today, the handheld PC market offers a wide variety of devices, from Asus ROG Ally and Lenovo Legion's Go to multiple Chinese portable PC brands. Even Sony, after failure of PS Vita and despite the success of Switch from Nintendo, is reportedly working on a new handheld device expected to launch alongside the PlayStation 6. So this is not the first time when Valve has sparked a major shift in gaming and delivered a superior user experience. However, the excessive caution may end up killing their new upcoming Steam Machine. Back in 2015, the original Steam Machine was a major failure, with total sales estimated under 500,000 units. For comparison, even the least successful console of that generation, Xbox One, sold tens of millions. This experience shaped Valve's later strategy. When the time came for the Steam Deck, they adopted a far more conservative approach. They chose small-scale phased production instead of mass manufacturing. If the product failed, they could scale down quickly with minimal losses. If it succeeded, they could gradually ramp up production. This approach works best when the hardware market is stable, components are readily available, and manufacturers can easily secure new supplies contracts. Yet, even under relatively stable conditions, Valve struggled for a long time to meet customer demand. In the case of Steam Deck, however, this phased strategy ultimately worked. By the end of 2025, sales were estimated around 4 million units, a huge number for a market that had never previously crossed the 1 million unit threshold. For comparison, the entire ROG Ally lineup sold about 860,000 units globally by mid-2025, which is respectable and only further highlights Valve's strong sense of market timing. What Valve really did was identifying a neglected niche that had once been extremely popular, especially during the era of PlayStation Portable. They recognized that Sony had misjudged this space when it abandoned handheld gaming, believing that smartphones would replace dedicated consoles. That assumptions turned out to be short-sighted, and Valve filled the gap that no one else was seriously addressing. In such uncertain conditions, playing it safe made sense. When the true potential of a handheld gaming segment was unclear, caution was justified. But with the new Steam machine, this situation is entirely different, and the same conservative mindset might now be a strategic mistake. Even though Valve explains that the Steam machine exists because a significant number of Steam Deck users connected their device to a display and played it like a regular PC, showing demand for a stationary Valve gaming device, I think the company is primarily trying to position their product in a way that avoids direct competition with major console players like Sony, Xbox or Nintendo. With the Steam Deck, this cautious strategy worked well because there almost no serious competition in the handheld market, but in the case of a Steam machine, there is no way to avoid being compared to traditional consoles. So my question is, why hiding? Gamers are really tired of old, archaic, conservative and anti-consumer policies of Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo. There is a need for a new player on the market, one that could be a real threat and force console companies to change, and the Steam machine has everything it takes. Don't like using the Steam gamepad? No problem, use an Xbox controller or just plug in your keyboard or mouse. Want to replay your favorite game without starting from scratch, skip an annoying section, or use a specific build without grinding for hours? Just download the save files you need and play your way. Need the game in your native language? SteamOS doesn't restrict localization by region like PlayStation does. Even if a game isn't officially translated, you can download fan-made patches and enjoy it immediately. You also have full control over your gaming experience. Found a critical bug? Open the console and fix it yourself or grab a fan-made patch. Want to improve outdated graphics? Don't wait for a remaster, download the mods you like and get the best experience possible. With the Steam machine you are not limited by the system, you decide how to play. This is what modern consoles are lacking, a system that doesn't constrain gamers. I'm tired of paying subscriptions to play online games I already purchased. I'm tired of $80 games for no reason. I'm tired of Microsoft as a monopolist forcing me to use only their wireless controllers, which are low quality. It's the third time I had to replace bumpers on my Xbox controller, even if I want to use another brand. Only wired option exists, an intentional decision from Microsoft to force me to buy their products. And it's not only that, console platform holders hate regional pricing and actively shut down loopholes. Look at how Xbox first restricted Argentina then Turkey. Many countries aren't officially represented in an Xbox or PlayStation store, forcing players to create accounts in expensive regions, making games effectively inaccessible. Bought a refurbished console and it got banned. Don't even try reaching out to Sony, they won't help. Are you a Ukrainian who had a Russian PSN account before 2022 because your region was linked to Russia? Congratulations! Your account is effectively blocked. You can't purchase anything from it. Sony won't let you change your region even if you spend thousands of dollars and it's not your fault that a war started. This is what modern console gaming looks like today. Restrictions and poor user experience. That's why the Steam machine is needed. None of this problem exists on the SteamOS. I'm pretty sure people will rather play on a slightly weaker console with a great system and user experience than be strangled by the old policies of Sony. In this case, entering a full-formed console market requires going all in. Playing safe is not an option, and here we are. While Sony may face RAM shortage, due to long-term contracts with memory manufacturers, it has achieved stable supply and predictable prices for at least 2 years. Valve, even 3 months after announcing the Steam machine, is not ready to disclose pricing. The RAM shortage may be such a surprise for them that they cannot assure a large production run. Keeping in mind recent Steam Deck news, Valve may have to choose between supplying RAM to the new device or delaying release and prioritizing the Steam Deck. The most likely scenario is that Valve won't be able to satisfy demand. We may face staggered production waves, releasing a limited number of consoles at a time, followed by long waits for new supplies. This means the Steam machine risks being just another enthusiast story, not a serious competitor in the console market. What we learned actually today? Sometimes playing it safe isn't the best option. This time Valve made a mistake, and we all can do is wait for next iteration of a Steam machine, the one that could finally make a revolution. Bye.